On October 21st, 2023, Atlanta, Georgia. Officers responded to a 911 call about a shooting on Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Witnesses reported shots fired and a young man collapsing. By the time police arrived, both the victim and the suspect had disappeared. Police then received another call from officers at Northside Hospital, informing them that a young male had been dropped off with multiple gunshot wounds.
Hey, this is Sandy Springs Police Dispatch. Just had a male roll in Northside Hospital with a gunshot wound. He's currently code. They're trying to resuscitate.
Okay, so he has a gunshot wound.
It's pretty bad. Could y'all start a unit down to Northside?
All right, we'll get a call set up.
The victim was later identified as Edward Thompson Jr., a 20-year-old from Atlanta, who was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Edward was raised in Atlanta, Georgia, where he spent long hours working at a local removals company. Outside of work, his passion for music was a big part of his life, but his greatest joy came from spending time with his family. As a dedicated father, he helped raise 4 children with his girlfriend, 2 of which were his own young daughters. Body cam footage captures the scene at the hospital. Edward's girlfriend, who had been driving the car, and a male passenger appear visibly shaken.
Good morning, y'all. I'm just curious to stay with y'all for a little bit. The detective on the way to talk to y'all, okay?
All right. Hello, Mom. Like, this is probably the worst thing I ever been through in my life.
While neither sustained physical injuries from the shooting, the emotional toll was immediately evident. Detectives now begin the task of piecing together what happened.
So I got a phone call saying a car pulled up, opened the back door, he slumped over in the seat, gunshot wound to the head.
Investigators decide that the most logical place to begin is with Edward's girlfriend, Vanessa, the one who had been driving the car when the shooting occurred. As someone who was not only present during the incident, but also closely connected to the victim.
What happened this evening?
My boyfriend, he works. I'm a stay-at-home mom. We just went out for today just to have fun at 404 Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're inside of the party. Everything's good. I see him sweating so bad and he just doesn't feel good. So I was like, you ready to go? Because he has work tomorrow at 8 a.m. So we decided to go to the car or whatever.
Vanessa states that the other passenger was Edward's best friend, Styles Gann. He had driven the couple to a bar called the 404 Cafe. She says they were having a good time at the bar at first, but she noticed that Edward was sweating a lot, which was unusual for him. Concerned, she asked if he wanted to leave early, especially since he had work early the next morning. Edward agreed, and the 3 of them got into the car together, with Vanessa driving. However, before they could start driving, a man appeared seemingly out of nowhere, pointed a gun at Edward, and opened fire.
I'm in the driver's seat, and the guy just walks up, and I see him with a gun like this. So I just pull off. I'm just trying to get away from him.
Think real hard. What did this male look like?
He was just a Hispanic guy. He looked young. He didn't look like he was over 20.
Vanessa described the shooter as Hispanic, appearing to be around the same age as the group, likely no older than 20. To investigators, this raised immediate questions. Who was he? And more importantly, why? There was no indication of a robbery, no demand for money, no attempt to take valuables. The shooter's target was clear. This wasn't random. This was personal.
The crazy part is I didn't even hear the freaking gunshot. His best friend, they know each other since they were young. He said that my boyfriend was bleeding, and that's when we pulled over, and I was holding him because I just couldn't believe it. So I'm like, bro, we gotta go to the hospital right now. This is he didn't even deserve it. He's a good dad. He doesn't do anything but put to work.
I need to speak to Styles.
Detectives felt that Vanessa was genuine. Her story was clear, emotionally aligned, and showed no signs of deception. With her account holding up, they shifted their attention to the only other person in the car that night, Edward's best friend, Styles Gann. Styles and Edward had known each other since childhood. They were more like brothers than friends. But despite witnessing his best friend gunned down just hours earlier, Styles' behavior was unexpected. He went to sleep. At this point, Styles wasn't a suspect, but something about his calmness didn't sit right.
Do you mind just hanging out in the lobby and we're talking here? Styles?
Yeah, Styles.
Hey, man. Good yourself?
Not too good, man.
I hear you. So, I just need your 100% cooperation and we can figure out, who tried hurting you guys, okay?
Yeah, so we getting ready to gather up, leave, go home. We came out the club. We was probably in the car for no more than like 2 minutes.
Stiles told detectives that after leaving the club, he returned to check if another friend needed a ride home. That's when, according to him, things went south.
I proceed to try to look for him, so I go towards the door. I hear some words, and I'm like, everybody's okay? And then he was like, oh, don't ask me this, don't, blah, 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 blah. You're not my friend. And I turned around or whatever, he pointed a gun at me. I continued walking to the car, and then that's when he came up to the car with the gun. And then I told her, like, let's go. She pulled off. I turned around and see my glass shattered and seen Edward Jr. slumped over.
Okay.
I'm like, you bleeding? Like, what's going on? You bleeding? I don't get no response, no nothing.
So what did this guy look like?
But I just know he was Hispanic.
Stiles informed detectives the shooter was Hispanic, corroborating Vanessa's statement. With interviews concluding, investigators went to the crime scene to gather more evidence and try to get a better understanding of what went down that night. When investigators arrived at the scene, they secured security camera footage from a store next to the bar. What they found added a twist to the story, one that changed everything. The footage shows Stiles walking back toward the bar, just as he claimed. Moments later, another man appears, pointing a gun directly at Stiles. Stiles quickly retreats and jumps back into the car. But just seconds after the car drives off, something strange happens. The men on camera begin reacting erratically, ducking, flinching, taking cover. It looks like gunfire, but it looks like it's coming from the car, not towards it. Could the shots that killed Edward have come from inside the vehicle? The security footage casts doubt on both Vanessa's and Stiles' statements. Their story no longer matches what's on tape. Detectives decide to interview them again, starting with Vanessa. This time, they visit her at home.
There's some questions I need to ask. I got video footage from the location.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please, let's just start from the beginning. Okay. So you see.
I see a whole bunch of guys. They started screaming out, West Side, West Side. It's a certain guy walking up. He just pulled his gun out and he was pointing it at us. I just remember I just pulled off, and that's when I remember that Styles shooting up in the air. They started running towards the street and shooting at the car.
So what happened to the gun that Styles had?
Door.
Where?
I don't know exactly where. I'm too busy driving, trying to get away. But Styles, he didn't shoot at nobody. It was an arrow. But the fact that he still did it, I just feel like that triggered them. Because when he was pointing the gun at us, he didn't shoot.
What did that guy look like?
I have his picture.
She now claims that as they were leaving the bar, Stiles fired 2 shots into the air from inside the car. That detail matches what's seen on CCTV, the men flinching, ducking, reacting to gunfire. Then Vanessa pulls out something unexpected, a photo of the suspected gunman. He was wearing the exact same clothes on his Instagram the night of the shooting. Almost as if he knew eyes were on him, the suspect's Instagram began to change.
Then I was still stalking him. He deleted the pictures. Then he changed his Instagram name. Now today his Instagram's gone.
The detectives then obtained more security footage, this time from the bar's own cameras. The angle is better, the resolution is clearer, and what it reveals is far more than they expected. The narrative didn't just change, it collapsed. The details are shocking. The new footage shows Stiles walking back toward the club, reportedly to check if a friend needed a ride. But on his way, he gets into a confrontation with another man. The exchange is tense. What's said isn't clear, but the man suddenly pulls a pistol and aims it directly at Stiles' head. Stiles backs away, visibly shaken. The man appears to be wearing the exact same clothes as the one in the Instagram photo Vanessa showed detectives. Stiles rushes back to the car, where Edward and Vanessa are waiting. They drive off. It looks like the situation is over. But then, just seconds later, Stiles leans out of the passenger side window and opens fire. He shoots back at the man who threatened him. That man gives chase, sprinting after the car and firing in return. But he doesn't hit Stiles. He hits Edward, and he dies shortly after. Now detectives shift their focus to tracking down the gunman who ended Edward's life. Minutes after the shooting, a red truck is seen leaving the area. Surveillance cameras catch it again a few blocks away. Detectives notice something familiar. The passenger's clothing matches the shooter's caught on tape. They run the plates. The vehicle had been involved in a recent accident. A police report had been filed, and every occupant was listed by name. One name jumps off the page: Kevin Pacheco, 20 years old, from Atlanta, and now the prime suspect in Edward's murder. Detectives place a call to Stiles. They ask him to come back in. Just a few more questions, they say. But this time it's different. They have the footage. They have a name. And they're giving Stiles one last chance to tell the truth about what really happened that night.
Okay, so right here, I'm gonna have Detective Elia. He's gonna come in and just show you a photographic lineup.
Okay.
Of possible the suspect from Saturday morning. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll come back and we'll sit down and talk. Okay.
More than glad.
Okay.
Detectives present Stiles with a photo lineup. They don't tell him who they're looking for. They don't need to. Stiles scans the faces carefully, then points. He identifies the shooter without hesitation.
All right, man. So this is Sergeant Work. He was at the scene. So you had some alcoholic beverages that morning. Emotions were running high. You're in a clear state of mind right now, right? Okay. So you pull off, you leave the parking lot.
Yeah, well, Vanessa was driving, I'm in the passenger.
Correct.
Yeah.
What happens then?
I guess that's when shots was fired. As we're just going, trying to get up out of there, remove ourselves from chaos.
Stiles sticks to his story. No mention of the gun, no mention of firing it. But what he doesn't realize is that detectives already have the footage from the bar's parking lot. They've seen everything.
The issue we're running into, Stiles, okay? You understand that there were multiple cameras that faced that parking lot, okay? Vanessa's follow-up interview, okay? She's telling me some stuff that you're leaving out, okay?
I just remember I just pulled off, and that's when I remember that Styles shooting up in the air. They started running towards the street and shooting at the car.
And you know what you're leaving out.
I'm trying to understand, like, this is my brother. Like, I'm trying to understand what, like...
I mean, do I have to show you the video?
I would like to see. I don't know.
Okay, I'll show you.
Stiles isn't budging. He still denies everything. So the detective opens the laptop and presses play. For the first time, Stiles is watching the truth unfold, on screen and in front of his face. Now the pressure is no longer just implied. It's undeniable.
You're in the front passenger seat, like you told me, right?
Passenger.
Okay. This is your car, okay? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
That's you hanging out the window.
When we was pulling out, Ed maybe fired. I'm not sure, but I'm like...
That's you hanging out the front passenger window, man.
I didn't hang out no
Listen,
window.
listen.
Like,
Vanessa's already told me you fired multiple rounds at that parking lot.
Like, I'm telling you, I don't know, man.
You're on video. You're on camera. I'm giving you an opportunity to tell me what happened.
We're here investigating the death of your friend.
I know.
Which I'm sorry for, and I'm sorry you had to experience that.
I know.
Okay? And that's why it's imperative that you be honest with us.
Yeah, as we left, I did self-defense. I tried to defend my brother.
Stiles breaks. He admits to firing from the car. He claims it was self-defense and he was protecting Edward. And maybe, in his mind, it was. But here's the truth. The threat was behind them. They were already driving away. He wasn't protecting anyone. He was lashing out. Out of fear? Yes. The lingering shock of having a gun pointed at his head just moments earlier. Stiles didn't start the confrontation. He was reacting to it. But in that moment, he wasn't thinking about consequences. And in that split-second decision to pull the trigger, his best friend paid the price.
How many rounds did you shoot from the car?
I don't know.
What type of gun did you have?
Glock.
Where is his Glock at?
I just threw it. I don't know where it's at. I shot self-defense. He shot at our car.
Stiles insists it was self-defense, but the threat was gone. They were driving away when he pulled the trigger. That's not self-defense. That's retaliation.
You decided to lean out of the vehicle and fired multiple rounds back into that parking lot. Your actions caused that guy to run back up and began firing at your vehicle.
He put a gun on my head.
Okay? There's no doubt you pointed the gun at your head. But there's no threat anymore, okay?
I didn't know there was no threat still. I didn't know that.
With Stiles now admitting that he fired a gun from the car while leaving the scene, detectives have little choice. His actions, though claimed to be in self-defense, clearly occurred after the immediate threat had passed. The confession leaves no ambiguity. He pulled the trigger when they were already driving away. After reviewing the evidence in his own statement, detectives formally placed Stiles under arrest.
All right, Stiles, go ahead and stand up. Put your hands behind your back and you're placed under arrest.
For what? I didn't kill nobody.
The detectives then face one of the most difficult parts of their job, informing Stiles' mother that her son has been arrested and is now facing serious charges. It's the kind of news no parent is ever prepared to hear. As they deliver the update, her reaction is exactly what you'd expect from any loving mother.
As they're driving and turning onto Jimmy Carter Boulevard, Stiles decides to hang out the front passenger seat window and begin firing his handgun. Okay.
A gun pointed at his head.
So Stiles' actions is what caused a shootout in the parking lot. Unfortunately, Stiles is being placed under arrest.
The detectives now turn their full attention to Kevin Pacheco. Using details from the truck's registration and the names listed in the accident report, they track him to an apartment complex not far from the crime scene. Officers move in quietly and make the arrest without incident. Kevin is taken into custody and transported to the station, and the detectives are hoping he'll fill in the remaining gaps of what really happened that night.
What's up, dude? October 21st, 2023, I responded to a shooting at that 404 Cafe. Okay? You know you were there, right?
They said I was there.
Okay. There's video surveillance of the exterior of the club. This is your time to tell me what happened that night. You're on surveillance cameras.
Kevin appears emotionally detached, cold even. For someone facing such serious accusations, his lack of emotion is striking. Just flat, vacant responses. And while everyone processes pressure differently, most innocent people facing a murder charge would at least show concern, fear, or desperation to clear their name. Kevin? Nothing.
I don't even remember.
You don't remember anything?
Okay. This is from the surveillance cameras in the parking lot that shows you pointing a gun at this other individual.
I see myself holding a bottle right there.
What was in your hand? It's not a bottle.
So that night you had a gun, right?
I don't even remember. I don't even have a gun. I don't even own a gun.
We have video evidence that is very hard to dispute. Why don't you just explain to me what happened with you and this other gentleman? Did he disrespect you in front of your boys?
No.
What about gunshots in the parking lot? You remember hearing those? You want to talk, you're just afraid to talk. Okay? I can see it in your eyes.
So there's no way like I can have like an attorney with this or something?
Kevin denies everything, says he wasn't there, claims he doesn't own a gun. When detectives press harder, his answers grow shorter and more vague. Then, almost like he knows the walls are closing in, he stops talking altogether. He asks for a lawyer. The interview is over.
Well, we're going to get you transported to the jail.
But why?
For murder, Kevin.
Good luck to you, man.
Both men, Styles Gann and Kevin Pacheco, are facing serious charges: felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of certain felonies, reckless conduct, and unauthorized discharge of a firearm within 50 yards of a public highway. According to jail records, both Gann and Pacheco are currently being held at the Gwinnett County Detention Center, awaiting their day in court. Edward Thompson Jr. was a devoted father, son, and friend. His dedication to his family and his kindness and loyalty will always be remembered. He leaves behind children who adored him, family who treasured him, and friends who will forever hold him in their hearts. May he rest in peace.